So I got suspect down. I got one shot fired. Starting medic now.
10 for all units. Suspect is down. Shots were fired. 10th and roll at the marathon.
Control officer involved shooting. 10th and roll.
A third deadly police shooting in less than a week. Investigators are looking into what happened in the moments before a Metro police officer pulled the trigger. And all new at noon, the identity of the man shot and killed. We have team coverage on that this noon hour. First, we go to live to RTV6's Eric Cox with the latest on what he's learned. Eric.
Mark, it was right here at this East Side Marathon gas station where a fight between a police officer and an unarmed man ended abruptly with a deadly shooting. Now, we haven't got it confirmed from police yet, but we have talked to family and friends, and they tell us that the identity of the man police shot and killed here last night is 45-year-old Kevin Hicks. We talked to his father just ahead of this broadcast, and he says he's simply broken up at the moment, telling us his son would have turned 46 on April 12th. I've also learned that Hicks wasn't supposed to be on the streets at all last night. He was staying at the Duval Work Release Center just off Mass Ave after pleading guilty to a battery charge. He was out yesterday on a job search and was supposed to report back in the afternoon, but didn't. So a warrant was issued for his arrest around 6 o'clock. Police say it was around 9 when a woman called from 911. A woman called 911 from the Marathon gas station's parking lot claiming that her husband was hitting her. And when the first officer arrived, they reported seeing the woman in a car being punched repeatedly by her spouse, 44-year-old Kevin Hicks. That's when the fight broke out, eventually leading to the officer shooting and killing Hicks. Now, the officer involved is a 6-year veteran of IMPD and was taken to Methodist Hospital to be treated for a possible broken hand or wrist. Meanwhile, investigators are still searching through the surveillance footage here from this Marathon gas station in hopes of finding out what happened in the moments leading up to this most recent police deadly shooting. For now, we're live on the city's east side this noon hour. Eric Cox, RTV6.
Thank you, Eric. Team coverage with Call 6 Investigates now. As soon as we got word of the suspect's name in that deadly police shooting, we went to work looking into his background. Call 6 Investigates' Paris Lubell is live in the newsroom with more on what he found. Paris.
Hi, Mark. We're finding out that 44-year-old Kevin Hicks was no stranger to law enforcement. He served multiple sentences in the state's prison system dating back to 1990. Now, in February, Hicks was released on parole from the state's Department of Corrections. That was in February of this year. Now, court records obtained by Call 6 Investigates show that Hicks was currently serving in Marion County's work release program at the Duval Center. Eric was just talking about that, and as a part of his most recent sentence for battery. Now, he was out yesterday for work release, and he was supposed to return in the afternoon, and that's more on just what Eric was saying. Now, that Hicks didn't return, a warrant was issued, and that is typical in cases like this. So police were out there looking for him. Now, we hear that Hicks's previous sentences in the prison system include auto theft, trespassing, residential entry, theft, robbery, and multiple battery charges. There's a lot more in this case. We're going to keep on top of it, and we'll bring you the latest on the RTV6 app. Mark?
All right, Call 6 Investigates' Paris Lubell live in our newsroom.